All right. So, finally, we get to the Acolyte. So, it starts off with a woman, who we later find out is May, but a woman walks into a bar, which seriously sounds like it should be the beginning of a joke. And the way she was treated at first, it was actually a joke. So she walks into a bar. Well, first she asked before she got there where your Jedi is. And it started with a scroll. And I say that because there was text, but it wasn't scrolling text. But anyway, so the Jedi are a part of the Galactic Republic. Everything's going well. Of course, there's unrest. Apparently, the chaos is caused by self-taught Force users. But anyway, so, she asked, where is your Jedi? And so I guess every planet has a Jedi protecting it in the Republic. I don't know. And she goes there, and she wants Adira to attack her. And she even gets ready to be attacked. And I'm like, what? And even Adira is like, no, we don't do that. Jedi don't do that. And she's like, yeah, actually you do. Now, considering she forced Indira to attack her by attacking the patrons in the bar, which granted they were your typical bar patrons who thought they could take her on after they laughed at her. Indira was the one who actually, or Indira, I think it's Indira, basically said that, basically stopped them from laughing at her. So she attacks the patrons, and so the other patrons get involved, and it just ends up being your typical bar fight until Indira gets involved. Because now, I'm sure May is going to see this as the Jedi attacking her, but no, if you have to go through all this trouble to get someone to pay you any mind, this isn't attacking people. This is her protecting her people. So, so then there's this epic fight. I was so saddened that she ended up dying. And she ended up dying because she cared more about other people than herself. The bartender almost got skewered. And she stopped the blade from getting to him. And in doing so, she wasn't able to stop the other blade that May had from going into her heart. And it was kind of sort of an opera death because she didn't die immediately. She just looked like she was going to say something, and then she died. So, of course, the bartender is freaked out, and she's just going to retrieve her blade. I mean, she has no issue with the rest of the patrons. She was just after Indira. We have no idea why, none whatsoever, and towards the end of the episode, we still don't know why May has a problem with Indira, or Jedi in particular. I should say Jedi in general. So, he's got a little kid with him because that's that kind of a bar, it's a friendly atmosphere. So it's not something where you have bar brawls. So he had a little kid with him, and of course the little kid was scared out of out of his mind or her mind. We 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 couldn't tell. You couldn't tell the gender. So, but all May wanted was to retrieve her knife. And you could see on her face when she looked down at this frightened child that you could see that it affected her. So I thought that she was going to say something or, imply that she had no intention of scaring the crap out of the kid, that she just had a job to do or something. But she just picked up her knife and walked out. And so then we see who turns out to be Osha. And she's a mechanic on a ship. And the Jedi are after her. We find this out because the Jedi are approaching the ship while she's doing repairs, and she sees a fire and she freezes, and you hear a little girl saying, "Help me, help me." So obviously there's some trauma there. So she gets back to her quarters and we see two people. York, I believe, is the main one, and I didn't catch the Padawan's name. It's possible that this was a one-time thing for her and we'll never see her again. But Yord seems to be an old friend of Osha's. He's come because the Jedi investigated and the bartender gave the description of Osha, which makes sense because she looks just like May. Now, they had it cut in such a way that after the assassin scene, she jumps up with a start, which makes you wonder, was it a memory? Was it a dream? What's going on? Does she even acknowledge, what happened there? But it seems like she has no clue, because Yord talks to her and tells her what happened, and she's like, "Nope, wasn't me." And but nowhere does she say anything about having a twin sister, because, well, we find out later that she and her whole village died in a fire. So they talk to her, and then they bring in the witness and goes, "Yes, that's her." Now, I realize that it's the same actress playing both roles. I completely understand that. But I swear the eyes are different. Osha seems to have bigger eyes. So, yes, they are identical twins, but you can see a difference between them. Osha seems more friendly. More childlike, because she looks younger actually than May. So props to the actress for making it so you can tell. Obviously, they're doing it with a change of clothing to show that it's two different people, but you can see it in the face and the eyes that these are two different people. That, yes, they're identical twins, but you can tell a difference. So, she basically pleads her innocence until the bartender comes in, points her out, and she's sent away on a ship to send her to Jedi jail, I guess. And so then we meet Master Soul, and he is giving a lesson. And so this is the first trailer we saw. So a lot of people thought that the child who said, "I see fire," which you could tell on Master Soul freaked him the hell out. About as freaked as a Jedi can get, anyway. Because obviously he was probably thinking of Osha and May and the fact that everyone but Osha died. So then Vernestra comes in and informs Master Soul about what had happened. And she kind of chastises him for defending Osha, that this doesn't sound like her, because of the attachment thing. I really thought that because they brought in Osha when she was older, that this was something that this might have been a series that led to them taking younger Jedi. When they're still too young to have formed a really good attachment to their family. But no, this is basically mirroring what happened to Anakin. Only Osha is not going down the dark path. And so Vernestra basically chastises him for his attachment. And he's like, I will help with this endeavor, even though I don't believe it was her. And this is before they knew that May was alive. I mean, if Soul knew that May was alive, he could just say, "Are we sure that we got the right person?" Because she has a twin sister somewhere. But at this point, they think she's dead. So then we go back to Osha. She's on this barge going back to Coruscant, I think. And as they're doing this ship is piloted by droids. And the people on this ship want to plot an escape. And Osha's like, "We're in hyperspace. Are you trying to get killed?" So they're like, "Fine, suit yourself." And so everybody gets into a life pod except her. I felt so bad for her because she's the good one. She's not the bad guy, and she didn't get away. Well, the others didn't get away exactly either, but so she tries to use the Force to get Pip. And Pip is, he's cute. And basically the male version, at least I think it's supposed to be the male version of Lola. So she tries to use the Force and fails miserably. Actually, when we saw her putting out the fire on that ship, I honestly thought she was going to use the Force then. But yeah. It's been 6 years since she left the Order, so the fact that she might be a little rusty, well, that's to be expected, right? So everybody escapes, including the guy who's being basically tortured because he's a violent criminal or something. But she helps him, and then he proceeds to run away and leave her stuck in the ship. So she proceeds to get ready for impact. And somehow she survives. Who knows, maybe her latent Jedi training came into play and that's what saved her. But she got saved. And then she sees someone. And it was really weird because she woke up with a start, just like she usually does when she wakes up from asleep. So you think, okay, that makes sense. But then she sees someone. She runs after that somebody. It turns out it's little May. May as a kid. And then we see Osha as a kid talking. So it's like, are we in the world between worlds? What's happening? Seriously, what's going on right now? So May cops to the fact that she killed Indira. Because Osha even told Yord, why would I kill Indira? She and Soul came and rescued me. Why would I do that? The reason I left were for my reasons. And apparently Indira didn't want her to join the Jedi, saying that she was too old. And she's like, look, I did what I did because of my own reasons, not because I'm wanting to kill Indira. So now Osha knows that May is alive and May's the one who killed Indira. So Soul says he wants to go with Yord and Jecki to retrieve Osha because he sees this as a personal failing of his because she was his Padawan. Okay, that sounds reasonable. Even though you can tell that he's also going because he doesn't necessarily believe and he wants to either A, see for himself or help her. Or both. So, Yord and Jecki go with him, and Jecki doesn't like that Yord is coming because he's Yord, whatever the hell that means. And then we see him, and Yord is shirtless. And Soul is giving him this look like, dude, what? And Jecki's just like, get dressed. So, obviously, I don't know if Yord is supposed to be the comic relief in the show, or this was just because they wanted to show someone with muscles upon muscles, and muscles in places I didn't think there were. I don't know. But, so Soul, Yord, and Jecki take off, and they're talking. And Soul is talking a little bit about Osha, saying how she's a twin and what happened to her sister and family. And both Yord and Jecki are like, wait, what? She's a twin? And you could see the gears turning, that especially on Yord, like, you mean maybe my friend isn't guilty? But also this, wait a minute, this isn't in her file. How come we don't know this? And that's a great question. Why was that hidden? What happened to Osha's family and her entire village? I mean, you would think that, there's nothing to see here. Unless, going back to why May went after Indira, it makes you wonder, wait, does she, either the Jedi had something to do with the fire, either intentionally or not, or just that May blames them for the fire? Because not that makes a ton of sense, that doesn't explain everything, but it does make you think that the fire and her hatred of Indira, and it's not just Indira, because she specified your Jedi. So either she didn't think that they would know her name, or it just so happens that she's the first one she encountered. But regardless, that makes it very interesting. So, Osha again takes off, and as she takes off, Jackie, Yord, and Soul land, and they go after Osha. And they go through these snowy mountains, and she almost falls off the cliff. And I'm kind of concerned for her, but at the same time, yes, it's been 6 years, but she's a Jedi. So maybe she could save herself, but Master Soul saves her. And she just looks at him and says, May is alive. You know, she's like, I didn't do this. You have to believe me. Then after he saves her, May is alive. And of course, this being Star Wars and them being Jedi, nobody even questions how she knows this. So the episode ends with May on looks like cliffside, beachside somewhere, and is walking, and you hear this voiceover. I assume it's a male voice talking about how the Jedi work, how they don't expect an acolyte, blah blah blah. And you see someone in far off as May is walking, and they light a lightsaber. I assume that that's the person who was doing the voiceover, but I could be wrong. So that's how this episode ended. And I don't know when I will get to it. Hopefully sometime today I will get to episode 2, because now I'm very curious as to where this is going. Because how did May survive? And how is it that, of course this answers one question, why they took one twin and not the other. Well, of course they took one twin and not the other because they thought the other twin was dead. So she's also force sensitive, which makes you wonder who their parents are. And if they survived, because if May survived, who else from this village survived? Did some survive and some die? Did most of them die? So many questions. So let me see. So apparently these 4 are going to be the Scooby Gang. They're going to be tracking down May and trying to find out why she killed Indira. Because it seems like she's not going to stop with Indira. But at the moment, it's just Indira. Let me see if there's anything else of this episode I wanted to cover. I think I covered everything I wanted to in this episode. So with that, I will see you in the next video and for episode 2.